On a perfectly smooth sheet of ice, a young figure skater named Aurora moved with quiet grace. The arena lights reflected off the rink, and every movement she made seemed light, almost weightless. She built up speed, launched into a jump, and landed cleanly. The audience burst into applause. Her performance looked flawless. Her jumps were high, her spins fast, her movements elegant. It seemed as if the ice obeyed her without resistance, and that was why most people believed her strength was talent. But her coach, Elias, saw something different. After the performance, he walked over to her and spoke quietly.
"Aurora, your talent is a diamond. But even a diamond needs to be polished."
A few weeks passed. New competitions arrived. The arena was larger this time, the lights brighter, and the silence before the performance heavier than before. Aurora stepped onto the ice. The music began, and she built up speed. The first jump was clean. The second was too. The audience had already started applauding, recognizing the same effortless grace and natural talent they had seen before. Aurora felt the familiar sense of confidence, the one that had always carried her through her performances. She built speed for the most difficult element of the program, a jump. For a moment, everything looked perfect. But the landing slipped slightly to the side. Her blade slipped across the ice, and within a second she was on the rink. The arena fell silent. Aurora quickly got back up and continued the program, but something had changed. Each movement was a little more cautious now, every jump a little less certain. When the music ended, the applause came, but it was restrained, not like before. The scores appeared on the board, and for the first time in many years, Aurora's name was near the bottom of the list. She sat on the bench by the boards, staring at the ice. Her skates suddenly felt heavy, as if it were no longer the same ice she had always known. Coach Elias sat down beside her without a word. For a few seconds they simply looked ahead. Then he spoke quietly.
"Do you remember what I told you about the foundation? Discipline is the invisible threads that hold your talent together. Without them, even the most beautiful fabric eventually falls apart."
Aurora lowered her head, tears filling her eyes. "I don't understand. I'm trying, but it's so hard. The endless repetitions, the pain. Maybe I'm just not meant for this." Elias was quiet for a moment before speaking.
"Long ago," he said softly, "there lived a master weaver. He created carpets that people considered works of art. His students once asked him how he made them so perfect. The master answered, 'I do not simply weave threads. I weave patience, I weave perseverance, and I weave faith into every small knot.'" For a moment he was silent. One knot changes nothing, but thousands of knots create a masterpiece.
Elias looked out at the ice in front of them.
"Discipline, Aurora, is made of those knots. Every early morning practice, every repetition, every day you choose not to give up. That is where true freedom on the ice is born."
The next morning, long before sunrise, when the rink was still empty and silent, Aurora arrived first. Her face was filled with determination, and there was a new fire in her eyes. She began with the simplest elements, repeating them again and again until they became automatic. Her movements, awkward at first, slowly grew more confident and precise. Sweat ran down her face, but she didn't stop. She stayed on the ice longer than anyone else, practicing difficult landings, feeling the ache in her muscles, yet refusing to give up. Day by day, her technique grew sharper and her movements more refined. She no longer searched for the easy way. Now she understood that mastery is born from repetition. Her coach's words had taken root inside her like a seed. She began to understand that true strength does not lie in natural ease, but in the ability to choose the work every single day. Slowly, patiently, she began weaving the invisible threads of discipline, knot by knot, turning pain into strength and doubt into unshakable resolve. This was her path to true freedom, the kind of freedom that is born from control, from precision, and from mastery earned over time. The final competition arrived, the same arena, the same cold lights, the same shining ice. But this time, something was different. When Aurora stepped onto the rink, The careless confidence she once carried was gone. In its place, there was calm, quiet, and deep. She built up speed. The first jump was clean. Then the second. Then another. Her movements were precise, as if each one already knew where it belonged. She was no longer rushing, no longer trying to impress. She was simply doing what she had repeated hundreds of times during those silent mornings when the rink had been empty. A jump, a clean landing, another one. The audience held its breath. This time she was not fighting the ice, she was dancing with it. When the music ended, the arena fell silent for a few seconds. Then the applause erupted. Aurora stood in the middle of the rink, breathing quietly. Near the boards, Coach Elias watched her and allowed himself a small smile. He knew what the audience could not see. They saw only a few minutes on the ice. They did not see the thousands of mornings, the endless repetitions, the invisible knots she had tied patiently day after day. This moment had been built from them. When the results were announced, Aurora's name was called first. The arena erupted in applause. But this time, what she felt was different. It was not the thrill of a sudden victory, and it was not pride in her talent. It was the quiet feeling that she had traveled a long road. Aurora stood on the podium, looking out at the ice, the same ice where she had once fallen, the same ice she had returned to again and again on cold mornings when the rink was empty and no one was watching. Now she finally understood what her coach meant. Talent opens the door, but discipline is what walks you through it. Because true mastery is born in silence, in the quiet moments when, day after day, a person patiently ties their small knots. And one day, those knots become a masterpiece,